Happy Wednesday, everyone. Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi here with your 11 a.m. update on Tropical Storm Fred. The center of the storm starting to make its way inland at the Dominican Republic. It has strengthened a little bit now with maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, but that strengthening will be brief. Once the center of Fred moves inland along the Dominican Republic, it will interact with the very mountainous region that is the DR and weaken back into a tropical depression. But that too will be brief. Notice the latest forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, which is pretty much in line with the earlier cone that came out this morning, saying that the center of circulation of this storm will stay out over the very warm waters of the Caribbean as it heads towards the Florida Straits on Friday. Therefore, it will strengthen back into a tropical storm as it rides very close along the northern coast of Cuba. Now, keep in mind, there is some uncertainty here. If Fred decides that it wants to interact more with the island of Cuba, then it would result in weakening. But as of right now, that is not the consensus per the National Hurricane Center. Notice as it makes its way out into the warm Gulf waters, it will continue to strengthen as it parallels the central Florida coast by Sunday morning. Now with maximum sustained winds, at least forecast for now, of 60 miles per hour. And as Fred makes its way, potentially making a landfall along the Florida Panhandle by Monday morning, it will be a high-end tropical storm with maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. Now keep in mind, all of this can change, and also notice that most of central Georgia is in that cone of uncertainty. So there is the possibility that Fred makes its way through our area. But of course, the National Hurricane Center's track is hinting that it is going to move inland that a little bit to our west. When it comes to tropical storm watches and warnings, of course in effect for parts of the Dominican Republic, and now there are tropical storm watches in effect for parts of Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, and the southeastern Bahamas. Where could this go? Let's talk about the spaghetti plots. They are in good agreement along that northern coast of Cuba that the general consensus is that center of circulation will stay over the warm water, allowing it to strengthen. Once Fred heads past the Florida Keys, though, that's where there starts to be a little bit more uncertainty in the models. And then, of course, when it takes that turn to the right, there's a lot of question marks there. Notice several models bring it through central Georgia. Others bring it out towards the Mississippi and Alabama area. The GFS and the European model are favoring that right side of the forecast cone, which does favor Fred moving through central Georgia. The Euro a little bit faster, also staying together better, more organized. That would bring us a greater rainfall threat, a greater flooding threat, a greater wind threat, and then of course potentially that severe weather threat. The GFS trails behind, also falls apart very quickly, keeps the heaviest of rainfall closer to the coast, so that lessens our flooding threat, that lessens our wind threat as well. There's clearly a lot of fine tuning to do. That comes naturally with being several days out from any kind of landfalling tropical system, but we will be sure to keep you updated both on air and online as we continue to get updates on Tropical Storm Fred.